heard that it was a plane down. Can you confirm?
We're not positive, but we are responding from supposedly the area of the 14th Street Bridge.
We claim this ground in remembrance of the events of September 11, 2001, to honor the 184 people whose lives were lost, their families, and all who sacrificed that we may live in freedom. We will never forget.
A memorial can never replace what those of you mourning a loved one have lost. We pray that you will find some comfort amid the peace of these grounds. We pray that you'll find strength in knowing that our nation will always grieve with you. For all our citizens, this memorial will be a reminder of the resilience of the American spirit. As we walk among the benches, we will remember there could have been many more lives lost.
Immediately after the smoke cleared, the country began plans to commemorate the victims of the 9/11 attacks. In the days after the attack, makeshift memorials began to appear near the Pentagon. The first of many memorials dedicated to the victims of the Pentagon attack was in Arlington Cemetery, adjacent to the building, but a permanent memorial was needed to show proper rebuilding and healing of the country. Unlike every other memorial in the DC area, the National 9/11 Pentagon Memorial stands exactly where the tragedy occurred. This is no coincidence, as the architects decided that having a memorial on the site of the attack would help project a message of rebuilding in addition to restoring the government center. President George W. Bush made it a national priority to rebuild all of the sites destroyed in the attacks. This promise had two parts: to rebuild the physical buildings and to build memorials that both commemorated the tragedies and showed American resilience. This message was relayed to the architects Julie Beckman and Keith Caseman, who designed the Pentagon Memorial. Beckman and Caseman aimed to enlighten, educate, and engage visitors when creating the memorial. The Pentagon Memorial Fund, as well as the U.S. Department of Defense, funded their project. When the memorial was first opened to the public on September 11, 2008, 7 years after 9/11, there was not much controversy. However, some critics have called the memorial's design utterly cold, uncreative, and ugly. Surrounding the perimeter of the memorial is an age wall which goes from 3 to 71 inches, symbolizing the victims' ages ranging from 3 years of age to 71 years of age. Inside this age wall, stainless steel and granite benches are arranged from youngest to oldest by birth date. The design is meant to unify all of the victims to the Pentagon attack, while not overtly distinguishing the victims based on gender, military, or economic status. There are 184 benches in the memorial, each representing one victim. Although 189 people were killed in the attack, 5 of them were the hijackers and are not honored. When looking at any of the 125 benches facing the Pentagon, visitors are able to see the Pentagon building in the same view as the name engraved on the bench. On the 59 benches facing the opposite direction, visitors are able to see the sky in the same view as each of the victims' names. This creates a visual association between those who were in the Pentagon and those who were on Flight 77 during the attack, and it distinguishes the locations of the victims just before the plane's collision. The arrangement of the benches are metaphorical to the tragedy itself, a chaotic appearance representing the plane and building colliding together. Underneath each bench, a shallow reflecting pool is present. If multiple family members died in the crash, the name of victims' family members are inscribed in the pool. This pays a tribute to the family as a whole and represents togetherness. Other visual elements include trees that grow as the memorial ages and a walkway positioned in the path of Flight 77. There are 2 major texts within the memorial. One introduces the Pentagon Memorial and its intentions, and the other connects to the other attacks that occurred on September 11, 2001. These texts aim to emphasize a sense of unity and togetherness within the memorial. The use of the words "we," especially in the phrase "we will never forget," represents us as Americans and our unity against terrorism on our country. Additionally, the word sacrifice was notable because it implies that the victims willingly gave up their lives for our safety when they had absolutely no control. In the second text, a sense of mourning, togetherness, and patriotism is created by connecting the Pentagon attack to others in New York City and Pennsylvania. The somber sense of unity and tragedy connects to the architect's main purpose, appealing to their audience's emotions. 9/11 was, and still is, a very emotional event, and the memorial forces visitors to reflect upon the losses that occurred at the Pentagon on September 11th. Today, visitors are reminded that an attack like this was random and could happen again at any point. The roar of airplanes from Reagan National Airport, less than 3 miles away, are a constant reminder that terror could strike anywhere, anytime, and to anybody. The community around the Pentagon can interact with the memorial in many ways. People working there can either stop by and take a few minutes of reflection or stay and learn for hours. And families of the deceased can reflect in solitude late at night or early in the morning, as the memorial is open 24 hours a day. As time moves on, younger visitors are not able to identify with the first-hand experience of 9/11. So, the memorial is planning to create a visitor center in order to educate people about the horrific attacks. This will be the largest change to the memorial since opening in 2008. We interviewed Darren Stroud, a 49-year-old Pentagon employee who took time out of his day to visit the memorial.
Just got on the road. It was a beautiful day. It was crystal clear and not a cloud in the sky. And when I went to open the door in my apartment, I found a flag in front of the door. It was peculiar, but all the flags, there were flags around all of the doors. And I'm thinking to myself, it's the middle of the day. Why are these car washes closed? So I looked at my watch and it said 9/11. And I thought, well, today's not a holiday, so why is everything closed? And I said, oh, well, forget it. I'm going home. So on my way home, I stopped at a market to get some food it was a deli. I went into the deli, got my order, and came up to the checkout counter. And I was standing in the line, and it was quiet, so quiet you could have heard a pin drop. And I said, when I got close to the clerk, I said, excuse me, but was there an airplane crash somewhere in the United States today? And everybody talked at the same time. They hijacked 4 airplanes. They flew them into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and the World Trade Center collapsed. And I said, wait a minute, the World Trade Center, that building is over 100 stories high. How could it have collapsed? Go home and watch television. I remember hearing one person say, you'll cry. And when I saw the videos of the airplanes hitting the World Trade Center, I remember I did like this and I said, holy S. Except I said the word.
So what do you think about the benches themselves? Is it like a good design?
Yeah, they're beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful how they put it together. I mean, there was a debate about how they wanted to remember the people. But yeah, they finally came to a consensus of what they wanted to build, and this is it.
As a group, we thought the memorial was very meaningful and effectively paid tribute to the victims. The layout was thought out very well. However, some areas of the memorial could be changed to make it more welcoming. Some visitors seemed confused by the design, and more resources explaining the symbolism of the memorial could be helpful.